The Trump New Yorkers always knew, for anyone who grew up in New York, Donald Trump wasn't some brilliant businessman or a self-made success story. He was a name you saw plastered on buildings, a guy who loved being in the papers, and most importantly, he was always a crook. Everyone in the city knew it. It wasn't a secret. It was just business as usual for Trump. Take the Grand Hyatt Hotel scandal, for example. Back in 1975, Trump partnered with the Hyatt Corporation to redevelop the crumbling Commodore Hotel near Grand Central. He pulled off what looked like a smart deal, getting the city to give him a 40-year tax break. But by the late 1980s, the shady accounting started to catch up with him. New York State officials ordered the Grand Hyatt to pay $2.9 million in back rent after an investigation uncovered unusual financial records. And by unusual, they meant Trump was running two sets of books, one for tax authorities and one for his lenders. If that sounds familiar, it's because it is. He inflated numbers when it suited him and deflated them when it saved him money. A classic Trump move. And that wasn't the only trick up his sleeve. Reports from that era suggest Trump's company was part of a scheme to bribe tax assessors to lower property values across Manhattan. That meant paying less in taxes while keeping the value of his assets artificially high. Sound familiar? Decades later, he'd be found guilty of falsifying business records. The playbook never changed. By the early 1990s, the Grand Hyatt deal had soured. Trump turned on his partners, sued them for racketeering, and tried to weasel his way out of renovation costs. He eventually settled, but it was just another example of how he operated. Get the deal, milk it for all it's worth, and when things go south, blame someone else and take them to court. The Donald Trump I remember was never a great businessman. He was a guy who used loopholes, lawsuits, and outright fraud to get ahead. And now, decades later, the rest of the country is seeing what New Yorkers knew all along. Trump was always a crook. It just took the rest of America a little longer to figure it out. Please like and subscribe.